Ah. So we're a couple of emotional cripples. Politics is full of people who can't cope with their own lives. I worry about that a lot, as a matter of fact.
I shouldn't. If you're doing something worthwhile, that's good in itself, isn't it?
Yes, you're right. To hell with psychology.
Will we see each other again, do you think?
I don't know. I won't be in Wales again this year.
Oh.
I'm trying to avoid any sort of emotional entanglement. Sorry if that sounds presumptuous. I don't know what you have in mind.
Neither do I.
All right, look, there is just a chance I might get adopted as Labour candidate for Bill Hampton. If I do, I could do with some support at the adoption meeting.
I'll speak for you if you like.
You think you're good enough?
Well, if last night was a sample of your style, you'd be lucky to have me.
All right, then. You'd better be good after that.
If I am, will you promise me something?
What?
Come and spend a day at Bamfield. You obviously haven't the faintest idea what it's really like.
I know exactly what it's like, thank you very much. All right, I'll come. But don't expect me to change my mind about it.
Who's going to write to the contractors, you or me?
Oh, we'll leave that to me. I'll sort it out.
Good, thank you.
Excuse me, Sir Rufus, could
Yes.
I have a private word?
Yes, of course, yes.
Well, I'll be moving along then.
Right. What's it about,
I would rather we weren't overheard.
I'll walk over later, Harris. Don't wait for me.
Oh, right. Well, I'll trot along and get my tea then.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Alcock.
Good afternoon.
Well,
Can I depend upon this conversation as being completely confidential?
I can't say till I know what it's about.
My job is being made increasingly impossible by the attitude of some of my senior staff. I feel bound to ask for your support.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Alcock. I thought things were settling down rather well.
But it's one man in particular, Powlett Jones.
Powlett Jones? Always thought quite highly of him.
He's consistently refused to support me in the exercise of discipline. He's gone out of his way to stir up dissent amongst the other masters.
I think you'll have to be specific.
I'm quite prepared to be. Last term, I uncovered a number of, unhealthy friendships between senior and junior boys.
What?
The school was rife...
No,
with
wait a minute, please. This is a serious matter. I'd be happier if you brought it before the board.
I duly intend to, Sir Rufus, when my investigations are complete, and complete them I will, with or without the cooperation of my staff.
Now, I'd like you to listen to me for a moment.
Of course.
Now, look, we've had a few upheavals of late, staff changes and so on. Lost Carter and Irvin last term, both senior men, good men too.
Carter's attitude is as bad as Powlett Jones's, and for the same reason. I hope that you're not implying.
I am not implying anything, man, but what we require now is a period of stability.
I do what I think to be right.
Yes, of course you do. And I've no doubt that Powlett Jones does the same.
I've given him every opportunity to cooperate with me. He refuses. I demand the support of the governors.
Very well. If you insist on going ahead, it'll have to be brought before the next governor's meeting with formal notice of a hearing so that Powlett Jones can have time to get himself legally represented.
That surely isn't necessary.
It's how I'd advise him professionally. This could mean the ruin of his career. I think you'd do as well to consider it, too.
If that's what I have to do.
No. Take my advice, man. Think of some other way. For all our sakes.
Good morning.
Ah, David. Glad you decided to martyr yourself for another term. Frankly, these new men don't promise to be very scintillating. One of them asked me, "Do you play golf?" I replied, "Occasionally, but I prefer to play by myself."
I think you're very malicious.
In course of time, I'll unbend to the man. So, you turned Carter's offer down, hmm?
Yes, I did in the end. Felt a bit bad about it. But he let me off the hook. Seems he managed to find all the money himself.
Indeed he has. I loaned him 3,000 at a very gentle rate of interest.
You did?
Seemed a good way of killing two birds with one stone, dear boy. Hasten the departure of my esteemed colleague and remove his need to take you with him.
That's worth spending 3,000 for.
Oh, I don't doubt I'll get it back. Carter will be a roaring success as a prep school head, in every sense. It's long-term investment in another way, too.
Oh, what's that?
In my state of decrepitude, intelligent conversation is one of the few pleasures left to me. I should miss you very much if you left, Johnny. I don't want to spend my declining years talking about golf.
Now, I'd like to turn away from the present for a moment. You all know that I'm a teacher. Well, history's my subject and my passion. And I'm proud to be speaking here in Billhampton tonight, where men have been ready to die for their resistance to injustice. It's very moving for me to know that I am speaking to people whose ancestors were hanged in Judge Jeffrey's bloody assizes. It's men like those ancestors of yours that won us the right to vote, to speak freely, to decide how we're taxed and how we're governed. And you know better than anyone else how important it is not to let up, but to carry on the fight wherever your rights are threatened. And I can assure you, you couldn't have chosen a better candidate. She's got ability, and she's got guts. And I know that you're going to help her win this seat from the Tories. So you could see it was quite a problem for Henry, wasn't it? Well, he quite liked the look of Catherine, and Catherine quite liked the look of him. And it would solve a number of problems for both countries if they could get together. But there was one snag. He couldn't speak a word of French, and she couldn't speak a word of English. Well, how do you make love to a woman when you don't even talk the same language? Yes, we know, Jacqueline, but you can't take liberties with princesses. They're not used to it. Yes, Veezy.
Sign language, sir?
Oh, yes, let's see. How would that work? Come on, out the front. You're Henry V. Jacqueline, you're the French princess. All right, off you go. All right, just hold it there a minute, easy. Oh, sorry, Barnaby.
No. The noble Alcock's compliments, and would you step across to his study?
What now?
I'm afraid so, yes.
You wouldn't mind taking over for a moment, would you?
With pleasure.
Darling, this is the lower fourth, is it not?
Yes, sir.
I'm delighted to make your acquaintance.